So in America, I was making very good money. I was averaging between $8,000 and $12,000 a month, and I was definitely barely getting by. Even though in the States I was considered to be fairly successful, I just realized that there had to be a better way, and I definitely found that.
My name is Jarrett Holmes. I'm here in beautiful Hoi An, Vietnam, and I live on $1,500 a month.
What surprised me most about Vietnam is the people. The people have really changed my life. I've never in my life experienced kindness and welcomeness from people like I have in Vietnam. With the cost of living, with the healthcare, with the gun violence, with the politics and the division, what has changed and what has gotten better in the United States in the last 10, 15, 20 or more years? And the answer was nothing. Everything has only gotten worse. When I was in the States and I was making great money and I was just really unhappy and really stressed out all the time, I realized that I had to make a drastic change in my life. And there is a better way. In the States, you're just existing. You're not living. In the States, you spend your entire life working so that you can do a couple of little things in life that make you happy, okay? And here it's the exact opposite. You can spend all your time enjoying life and doing amazing activities and things that will build amazing memories and experiences for you and your loved ones versus stressing out about money all the time. I will never move back to the United States, ever. My name is Jarrett Holmes. I'm from Florida. I'm 55 years old. And my occupation is entrepreneur. I'm self-employed as an agency owner with doing SEO and web design and video content for clients. I've been here in Vietnam for 2 years.
At 55, Jarrett Holmes is living a life he wishes he had discovered decades earlier. Originally from Florida, he spent years building an online marketing business in the United States. But despite earning a six-figure income, financial security always seemed beyond his reach. Today, more than 9,000 miles from home, Jarrett believes he has finally found a different way to live.
40-year-old me, looking back now that I'm 55, if I knew what I know now, especially about leaving the States, I would have left decades ago, for sure. And I hear the same thing over and over from dozens of nomads that I meet here in Vietnam, the ones that I've met also in Brazil and Thailand, they said the same thing. Life can be very, very different outside the States. All you need is just the ability to make money online. And that one ability alone will totally set you free in life. You can live wherever you want and do whatever you want.
Hi, Relocated. I'm Jarrett. Welcome to my home here in Hoi An, Vietnam.
Jarrett now shares this fully furnished two-bedroom apartment with his girlfriend. Located near the coast in Hoi An, the property offers the space, scenery, and peaceful environment he struggled to afford back home.
So it's a typical American two-bedroom layout, however, very original in Vietnam. So we have a very small kitchen, but we do have 2 burners. Air fryer is definitely a necessity. No dishwasher, no oven. We wish we had an oven. My girlfriend loves to cook every day. But stainless is nice. Nice open layout. The place came fully furnished. The only thing that's ours is the air fryer and the beanbag, basically. Everything else came with the unit. We love the unit because we got these incredible ocean views from every single room in the house. This is the 2nd bedroom. I use it as my office, and we have friends come over occasionally that visit us, but the views are really incredible. Also 2 balconies, which is really, really nice. Check out these views out here. We like to watch the sunset out here. You can see the islands. That's An Bang Beach over there in Hoi An. And then the rice fields are only about 5 minutes to the right there. They're building some new villas right now. All right, and then we'll show you the master here. First off is a secondary bathroom here. Nice big walk-in shower. This is our master. Same reason we chose these views. So we like to wake up in the morning and just look at ocean. Say hi, baby. Master bedroom. And then the master bath here. Got a big bathtub, shower, nice walk-in. Pretty much all the same here, LED on the lights. But yeah, this is what you get here. And believe it or not, in Hoi An, this is only 13 million dong. This is a resort, and they broke it off, and they're renting out this one building from the resort. But fully furnished, absolutely incredible.
In Vietnam, Jarrett estimates that between $1,500 and $2,000 a month is enough for him to live comfortably. His rent is under $500, his internet is included, and transportation costs a fraction of what he once paid in Florida.
Here in this apartment, it's very big. It's a 2-bedroom compared to the studio I used to have in Da Nang. I pay a lot more here though, so our last electric bill was like 6.2 million. because we have 3 AC units, and it's a lot. So in Da Nang, we only paid an average of like 1.5 million, the big difference. The water is actually included in the total that I just mentioned. Internet is free. Everywhere I've ever lived in Vietnam, the internet is always included in the rent. Phone bill's amazing. I don't miss Verizon anymore. Here I have Viettel. I pay for the upgraded plan. I don't even remember how much data I have. I think I have 10 gigs a day, but I pay like $12 a month or so, something like that. My rent here in this incredible 2-bedroom condo on the ocean is only $494 a month, American, 13 million dong. I don't have any health insurance, no. On groceries, we probably spend maybe $500-600 a month, maybe $700 at the most. I don't really pay attention to it, to be honest with you. It's so affordable that we buy whatever we want. Entertainment, we love to go to the beach clubs where I also DJ. The biggest thing that we probably do every day is we just go out and, we go to the coffee shops. You're in coffee heaven here in Vietnam. So we love to try a different coffee shop every day, and that's part of what we do for shooting content as content creators. Spending on coffee, we probably spend an average of 200 to 300,000 dong, once a day or once every other day going out for coffee. Because we normally get at least 2 or 3 drinks plus one, like a banana bread or, something like that. So we rent our scooter, and we pay 2.2 million a month for our scooter, which is a Yamaha NVX 155. So it's very strong. That's it, and then a little bit of gasoline. Costs like $5 to fill up the scooter with gas, so very, very affordable. It's easily below 1,500, but we go out to eat and we do those types of things. So, I would say for 1,500 to 2,000 a month, you can live very, very well here in Vietnam. Very, very affordable. For banking and payments, I still have my American accounts. I pay all my bills online, so none of that has changed. I don't have a Vietnam bank account yet. The only thing that I did that's additional was I downloaded the Moretta Pay app, and I use Moretta for QR code payments everywhere. I'm actually getting ready to get my Vietnam bank account this week. I finally got the slip or the whatever I needed from Viettel to get that done, so I'll have that as well.
But Jarrett did not leave America because he was unemployed or unable to earn money. At the height of his agency business, he says he was bringing in as much as $12,000 a month. The problem was how quickly that money disappeared.
Yeah, so in America, I was making very good money. I had ups and downs as a self-employed agency owner, like most people, but I was averaging between $8,000 and $12,000 a month in the United States, and I was definitely barely getting by because my rent was $2,400, my car payment and car insurance was close to $800 or $900 a month, and then groceries I was easily spending $300 to $500 a week on groceries. I was also married. I had a lot of other bills. I had a lot of credit card debt. The biggest thing was I wasn't able to save for a house. I was not able to pay for health insurance because the insurance that I wanted, I was quoted a lot of money. Basically I made too much money to get the Obamacare, but I had to get good insurance, but I'm also 55 at the time because I left the States 3 years ago. I was still in my 50s basically. But accidents happen, you have to replace the tires on your car, this happens, that happens, you have an emergency in the family, you have to fly somewhere, that costs money. So, I was like hanging on the side of a cliff. Every time I would catch up and I would save, many thousands of dollars in the bank, something would happen and that money would basically get wiped out and I would have to spend it on something. So I just realized that after 50 plus years of my life of constantly trying to make more money, which is what we're taught, that's not really the solution anymore. There has to be a better way of life. And that was one of the main reasons I left, was the cost of living, for sure.
Jarrett's solution is a strategy sometimes called geographic arbitrage, earning in a stronger currency while living in a country where everyday expenses are considerably lower. It is a model attracting remote workers and people approaching retirement who fear their savings may not support the life they expected. For Jarrett, however, leaving was about more than stretching his income. It required him to question whether the future he was working toward in America was still worth the cost.
So, retirement can definitely be a myth for a lot of you. It's only gotten harder and harder. Less and less people have money to save. When I was brought up, just turned 55 2 months ago, I was taught, work in a company, for 30 to 40 years, save money in a 401k, right? And retire with a gold watch, right? Or whatever gift they give you when you retire. So as we all know, those days are gone. Those days stopped 20, 25, 30 years ago. Now the average person stays in the same job with the same company for, 3 to 4 years, maybe 5 at the most, okay? If that. But most people are swapping jobs every 2 years or so. So there's no job loyalty anymore, but there's also no employee loyalty anymore. Because the next person that comes along and offers them an extra, $5,000 a year, they're gone. So number 2, the cost of living is drastically outpaced the increase in wages, right? So people have less and less money to save because the wages are not going up like the cost of living. So because of that, less people have money to save for retirement, or they don't have any money to save at all. Most people that I know, including people that make a lot of money in the States, they're just broke on a different level and they have endless amounts of debt, okay? And they're financing everything because they want to show the lifestyle, right? So on and so on and so on. Nobody really talks about how much money each person is saving for retirement. But from what I know, very, very few people that I know save any money for retirement, Now, that's not everyone. Obviously, if you're making a shitload of money, then you're probably saving. I do have a little bit of money saved, but for me, saving for retirement, number 1, the fast track is eliminate all your debt, which I'm in the process of doing. And then number 2, you have to make way more money than you're spending. And the best way to do that, obviously, is to live abroad. You have to earn in USD, you have to use geo arbitrage, and you have to spend in another currency where it costs a lot less money. What made me decide to leave the States and sell everything was just realizing that I gave it a lot of deep thought, and I realized, okay, here's what's been happening with my income, with my industry, with other side hustles that I was doing, with the cost of living, with the healthcare, with the gun violence, with the politics and the division. What has changed and what has gotten better in the United States in the last 10, 15, 20 or more years? And the answer was nothing. Everything has only gotten worse. So, unfortunately, I just made the decision that even if I worked harder, even if I went from $100,000 to $200,000 a year, or even $300,000 a year, nothing is going to get better. Nothing is going to change, right? Your healthcare costs are not going to go down. Your cost of living, your rent, your mortgages, your interest rates, and all that kind of stuff is not going to get better. The gun violence is not going to change. They're selling 20, 25 million new guns every single year. There's 3 or 4 guns to every person in the United States right now. So all those things, when you stack them all together, I just realized that, look, nothing's going to change. If I want a much better quality of life and a much lower cost of living, and I just want to feel free and I want to feel safe, I have to go somewhere that is not going to have all those things that I just mentioned, right?
After his marriage ended, Jarrett found himself at a turning point. Instead of rebuilding the same life, he sold most of what he owned and left with 2 suitcases and a backpack.
I wasn't afraid to leave. I was actually super excited. I've been watching YouTube videos like most of you guys for 4, 5, 6 years on digital nomad life and this, that, and the other. And I've worked on the computer for the last 20 plus years, only the computer, right? So I should have left a long time ago, but there was other things that were holding me back. So it was no better time for me. Unfortunately, I got divorced. And when that happened, that was the catalyst for me realizing, immediately, now there's never been a better time. Sell it all and go. Selling everything was the best thing I've ever done in my life. Without a doubt, you don't really realize how much stuff you have until you clear out a large house or you clear out a 2-bedroom apartment. And then you're like selling and selling and selling and selling. And then even after you spend a week or 2 selling everything, you still have like 75 boxes, right, that you need to put into storage or whatever, but you also realize how much stuff you have that you spent money on that you never use, right? We waste so much money in the United States on material stuff. It's really unbelievable. But I can tell you without a doubt, it was one of the most freeing experiences I've ever had in my life. I had the biggest load taken off my shoulders, just getting rid of all these things. And then when you travel and you have 2 suitcases and a backpack, and that's your whole life, it's like, wow, I can go anywhere I want. I can do whatever I want, stay wherever I want, stay as long as I want or short as I want, eat wherever I want. It was an amazing experience for me. First time in my life I've ever done that, and I'm not going back.
It was a decision that removed the possessions and responsibilities that had once anchored him to America. But Jarrett did not initially know where the journey would lead. His first destination was not Vietnam, it was Brazil.
So I went to Brazil first after I left the States because I met a girl online. And honestly, that's the honest answer. I was planning on going to Playa del Carmen, Mexico as my first stop for digital nomad life, but I met her. And I had always wanted to go to Brazil, and I had previously dated a girl from Brazil in the United States. So I was like, sure, I've always been, as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to be a risk taker. So I've always been a risk taker. I talked to her for 6 months on WhatsApp before I went to meet her for the first time in Brazil. So that's why I went to Brazil. Brazil is a beautiful country, absolutely incredible.
After a year and a half in Brazil, Jarrett traveled to Southeast Asia in search of his next home. Online videos led him to Da Nang, a coastal city known for its beaches, growing international community, and comparatively affordable lifestyle. What began as another temporary destination gradually became something more permanent. But maintaining this life abroad depends on one crucial advantage: Jarrett's ability to earn money online.
So I left Brazil and came to Vietnam just because the same reasons that I had been watching videos for many years on becoming a nomad. I also in Brazil was watching videos on where did I want to go next, basically. So when I went to Brazil, I initially only went there for, 3 to 6 months. And then as the relationship got more serious, I just decided to get my digital nomad visa in Brazil, which I did. So that gave me an extra year so I could stay. So after a year and a half and seeing many, many cities and living in Fortaleza and then in the northeast of Brazil, I realized, okay, I've seen enough, basically. I'm ready to travel. I had never been to Southeast Asia, and you guys know, obviously, Thailand, everybody talks about Thailand as a nomad. So, but what happened was I came across the channel, Use the Nomad, shout out to you, buddy. And he had these amazing videos on Vietnam, especially Da Nang. And what I really liked was he had already been to Thailand, like a lot, like all over Thailand. And he was comparing it constantly to Da Nang while he was in Da Nang. And then he showed all of Da Nang, and he just basically said it was better and it was more affordable and the beach was beautiful and everything looked amazing. So I was like, babe, let's just go to Da Nang first. And then once we got here and we started to do our visa runs, we just didn't leave, basically. We did leave and go to Phuket for a couple of months, but then we came back. We didn't like it so much. We love it here more. What kept us here, I would say, is just, I tell people, it's basically the best place where you can have the highest quality of living for the lowest cost. And, that's a real generalization, obviously, but it has so much. It has all the nature. You have the beach, you have the Sun Tra Mountains, you have all the other mountains all the way around. You have hiking, you have waterfalls, you have camping or glamping. You have, tourist activities like theme parks and things like that if you want, Bana Hills and Sun World and all this other stuff. But really it's all about, for me, not just the beach. I always have to live on a beach. That's what I love. I'm from Florida and I've always lived on the beach. But the other thing is just the culture. It's not too big. I don't think I could ever live in like Ho Chi Minh, because it's like 10 times the size of Da Nang. So just over 1 million for population. The culture, the unbelievable restaurants. It's got to be at least 10,000 coffee shops. I'm not even kidding, in Da Nang. There's like 10 or 20 on every single street, and that's what we love to do. We just like to sit. That's like the opposite of the States, right? In the States, you spend your entire life working so that you can do a couple of little things in life that make you happy, okay? And here it's the exact opposite. You can spend all your time enjoying life and doing amazing activities and things that will build amazing memories and experiences for you and your loved ones versus stressing out about money all the time. So there's just a lot to do here. There's not really a lot of traffic. It doesn't have all the downfalls of really, really big cities. The air quality is really, really clean. I could give a lot of examples, but come to Da Nang, you're gonna love it.
Jarrett's experience in Vietnam extends beyond affordability. He says the welcome he has received has challenged many of the fears and assumptions people expressed before he moved. But beneath his decision to leave America was a much more personal struggle, one that began long before concerns about money, politics, or the cost of living. At 18, while serving in the United States Navy, Jarrett reached a crisis that would permanently change how he understood life and survival.
So I was really, really interested when, the internet was developed and it came out, and it was always my dream to work from home. I've always been an entrepreneurial type. Ever since I was basically 7 or 8 years old, I've been hustling as a hustler, I used to sell candy at school, and then when I became old enough, around 13 or so, I started mowing yards in the neighborhood. I got really busy with that. By the time I graduated high school, I had over 30 clients that I was mowing, full time. And then I've been an entrepreneur ever since. I worked a lot in restaurants though while I was becoming an entrepreneur, but I became an insurance broker. I worked with a lot of different brokerages doing that for a while, recruiting and building and training teams. And then I got into software sales, working independently, and did the same thing there, recruited a team and also did my own sales. So I've always been a big believer in helping and mentoring others in those things, as well as some other things that I got into, mainly network marketing. But, that kind of led me into, since I loved the internet and I loved being a creator, that led me into starting my own agency. So in 2007 or so, I started my own agency doing social media marketing. And then what I realized very quickly was that it was a lot of work and no money. So I really needed to address all the other things that these clients that I was talking to needed. So they needed a website. Their website was horrible. So I learned how to build websites on WordPress. They needed SEO. SEO was the biggest game changer for me financially because those clients will pay you every single month, not just one time. So that was my first biggest taste of monthly recurring revenue, or MRR as they call it online. And that changed my life financially. I quickly went from 1 to 2 to 4 to 5 to 8, or more clients. And that set me free. Basically, I realized that there was other ways to make money. You didn't always have to be like the hamster on the wheel, trying to find a new client every single month, to build a new website every single month, to make another couple of $1,000s. And then ever since then, I've just been developing new skills by adding more services that clients already need. So content creation, videos was another thing that I learned and got really good at. Shooting videos, editing videos, and then ranking them on YouTube so they would be number one on YouTube. And then that led me to where I am today with AI, creating photos with AI, creating videos with AI, using AI to create AI avatars, and doing affiliate marketing of some sort. So that's it. You could definitely reinvent yourself once you move abroad. I've done it myself in the last 2 years because my main agency, mainly SEO, has really gone downhill with the advent of AI overviews and LLMs. Because less and less people are using Google search now. They're using ChatGPT to do Google searches. And then also AI overviews is taking over a lot of the website traffic now. So I've had to reinvent. And that's the reason that I got aggressive recently with getting back into doing UGC videos for clients, and sort of branching out into doing TikTok shop affiliate, where I can create videos with AI, bottom of funnel, and market products. And when people click, obviously, and make purchases, I can make commissions 24 hours a day. So that's 2 more income streams. TikTok is pretty much residual and passive, but UGC is physical. But there's a never-ending demand of people that need UGC videos. Whether you do them live, which is what we're doing right now, or if you do them with AI avatars, or with photos turned to videos. So either one, those are all very, very highly valuable skills that you guys should definitely look into if you're looking to work remote. I used to do TikTok lives every day, and the response was very good. I had an average of 200 or 300 on my lives. I'm getting ready to start doing that again. I've decided to get back because it's been the fastest growth method for me on social media by far. YouTube grows okay. My Instagram doesn't grow at all, no matter what I post. I can't figure out IG yet. But TikTok has a great response. And the biggest thing that I've learned is that the demand has never been higher for people that are searching, number one, for ways to make money online. The make money online niche is the biggest niche in the world. It's almost bigger. Well, it's basically the biggest, as you guys all know. The key is finding real stuff, avoiding all the scams, right? Stopping people from, taking your money constantly for stuff that's not really going to get you ahead in life. But if you just focus on linking up with somebody or a few people that are content creators that you can really, really learn from, that deliver, I like to say, undervalue and over deliver, basically. You want to make sure that you're getting way more for your value than what you're paying for, no matter what it is that you're, pursuing. So I like to go to one new coffee shop almost every day. My girlfriend and I, we shoot content together for TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And this place is called Old Rice Field here in beautiful Hoi An, as you can see. They got great drinks, food, and obviously incredible coffee. And then look at the scenery. It's absolutely breathtaking. What that means to us is that we just get a chance to relax, enjoy peace in our lives. We can think about business and focus on strategizing on what we're going to be doing, set goals, 30, 60, 90-day goals. Obviously spend time together as a couple, relax, be thankful for being here in Vietnam, and focus on our future and relax. It's one of the best things that we love to do every day, is to go discover these types of places. Moving abroad like this will really get you to reevaluate your thought processes on what's important in life, okay? The beautiful thing about Vietnam is there's literally tens of thousands of places like this here in Hoi An and in Da Nang, and by the way, all these places have free Wi-Fi. Every single coffee shop, every single restaurant, almost every single, even the beach clubs have free Wi-Fi. You can literally bring your laptop and like work. This could be your life every day, you guys. You know, I'm not really trying to sell the dream. I'm trying to teach you the reality that you did not know existed.
For Jarrett, cafes like this represent more than affordable food and beautiful scenery. They reflect a change in how he measures success. His new life provides time to think, create, and invest in his relationship, without every decision being controlled by financial pressure. Yet the freedom of remote work also carries uncertainty. When Jarrett's industry changed, his income fell dramatically.
Yeah, so in the last 4 years, there's been a lot of industry changes in my industry of SEO. So that's caused a lot of ups and downs in my income. I went from having 8 to 9 clients to having very few clients, and went from making very, very good money to very, very little money. And even though that has caused me a lot of stress, when you can live here in Vietnam and be comfortable for $1,500 a month, you know, it's not going to cause you the same type of stress, you know, that it would in the States. So even when I had a lot of clients and I was making great money in the States, I was still always worried about money all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? So, you know, here you have choices. You can still work online. You know, on my TikTok lives, I teach people remote work, which is something that I'm very, very passionate about, because after experiencing this freedom here, you know, I want everyone to have this feeling. So part of it, I blame myself for not focusing nearly as hard on getting new clients. But when the industry changes, like things are happening right now with AI, you know, you have to adapt with it. So I've had to do the same. I've had to create other income streams based on, you know, AI and what's happening right now, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have. I would say things that people misunderstand about Vietnam is that, you know, people on my TikTok lives, they're always asking me about the war. You know, don't people hate you for the war because you're American. And the crazy thing is, the only one that ever asks about the war is Americans. Not once, I've been here 2 years, not once has a Vietnam person ever brought up the war. So, you know, but basically that's in the past. It's definitely not forgotten, of course. We both lost a lot of people, but it's time to move on. And, you know, Vietnam is nothing but love. And the other thing I'll mention that I think is really important, especially with what's going on in the States right now with ICE and everything else, is I've never once experienced any racism or discrimination here in Vietnam. It's like being on another planet coming from the States. There's nothing but so much love here that the Vietnam people will give you, and it doesn't matter what color you're from, what country you're from. I've seen them be kind and loving and friendly to everybody, equally the same. And that's really, that can really move you as a person. I think it's very, very powerful. Mental health is a really big thing. I'm not ashamed to say this, and I hope this can help other people on the video. I'm a survivor of attempted suicide, okay? When I was 18, I was in the United States Navy and I attempted suicide. I got a medical discharge, turned honorable discharge after 6 months by going through that situation. And that taught me a lot about appreciating life because I survived, and I learned a lot about what is enough to make someone go over the edge like that, okay? And when I was in the States and I was making great money and I was just really unhappy and really stressed out all the time, okay? I know a lot of you guys can relate to that. I realized that I had to make a drastic change in my life, and there is a better way. You know, you don't have to suffer. You can move with your kids if you have a family, okay? A lot of people do it every day. Right? Is it easy? No. But is staying in the States and dealing with the situation that's going on there and being totally stressed out for the rest of your life, and most importantly, not living a quality of life? You know, the thing that I like to tell people is, in the States, you're just existing. You're not living. Right? You deserve to live. You deserve to go hiking, to go to waterfalls, to travel, to be able to focus on your health and spend time and really focus on your relationships and not be unbelievably stressed out every single day and feel like you have no way out, that there's nothing you can do to change. You have that choice. Now that you're watching this video, you have that choice.
After living with recurring skin cancer for more than 15 years, access to medical care remains an important part of Jarrett's life. In Vietnam, he says he has been able to consult specialists and receive procedures at prices substantially lower than the quotations he was accustomed to in the United States. His experience is personal, however, and the quality, cost, and availability of treatment can differ between patients and medical facilities. For Jarrett, affordable living and portable income have become inseparable parts of his plan for the future.
So I'm someone that struggled with skin cancer a lot of my life. I'm Scottish. I've always been, white with freckles. I had red hair when I was younger, strawberry blonde when I was younger, and I was raised in Florida. So I've always loved the sun. I have a sun tattoo on my shoulder up here, and I've always been out in the sun. Obviously, as a teenager and in your young 20s, you want to bake on the beach or at the pool, and you want to get tan, and you want to look good for the ladies when you go out. So that's what I did, and I pretty much never wore sunblock. When I was a young kid, also I got burnt really bad many times and had a lot of sun blisters on my back and shoulders. But then as I got into my 20s and early 30s, I also did a little bit for 4 or 5 years. I used the tanning booth also, which was a very, very bad decision. So anyways, to make the long story short, I've had like 14 skin cancers removed in the last 15 plus years. So now I have to get checked every 6 months or so. But coming to Vietnam, I had some questionable spots. So when I ended up traveling over to Thailand, to Phuket, I went to see a dermatologist, and he's like, yeah, you got to get these 2 or 3 spots probably removed. And I got a quote at the time, but at the time I didn't want to spend the money because I knew I was coming back to Vietnam. We had already made that decision. So the biggest differences are, here you can see a specialist for any doctor, including a plastic surgeon, which is who I saw. And it will cost you, to see a specialist just for the visit, it's going to cost you like $30, okay? I mean, seriously, maybe $40, okay, at the most, okay? So, and that's any type of doctor, because we've been to see gastroenterologists, psychologists here, neurologists here, you name it. We've probably seen at least 8 different types of doctors. But here you could have plastic surgery. I had multiple spots removed in Brazil from my back by a dermatologist, and he absolutely butchered me, okay? I have big, big scars on my back from that. And the spots were like this big, okay? So here I was like, I'm never again will I let a dermatologist remove any cancer from me again. Here you can see a plastic surgeon, which is exactly what I did. I sought one out. He had amazing reviews. As it turns out, he was on the same street that my Airbnb was, which worked out amazing. But he removed 3 or 4, I don't even remember now, skincare spots. It was very, very affordable. I think to have all 4 spots, and I had 2 different surgeries. The first time I went, he removed 3. And the next time I went, he removed a very large piece off of one of my eyebrows. I don't even remember now unless I look in the mirror. But yeah, you can see a plastic surgeon. It costs very, very little money. The surgeries, everything combined for both surgeries was like $400 or $500 total. Unbelievable. With a plastic surgeon, okay? So really, really incredible.
Jarrett's experience with mental illness did not disappear simply because he moved abroad. Relocation is not a substitute for professional mental health care, and leaving one country does not automatically remove a person's internal struggles. But Jarrett believes that reducing financial pressure and creating more space for health, relationships, and meaningful experiences has improved his quality of life.
The biggest misconception that people have on making money online is that it's scammy. The number one thing by far is that it's too hard. It's actually easier than ever. I mean, especially during COVID is when it really, really exploded because we were all trapped at home and we couldn't leave and we were forced to make money online to pay our bills. It's never been easier. Even by doing one thing, I would say the number one thing, if you're a little bit of an extrovert or more, is definitely start a YouTube channel because that alone can create another 6 or 7 income streams alone. Especially with digital products, which is by far one of the best things that you can do nowadays. If you have a YouTube channel, you use that as your main traffic driver, and then that can in turn drive people to all your digital products. So you can have a community on school, you can have courses, you can have ebooks or digital downloads. You can upload different types of products to Etsy or to Amazon and sell those as digital downloads as well, like Amazon Kindle as an example. There's so many things that you can do and create income streams online, and that have nothing to do with getting a job or working for a company, right? There's literally thousands of things that you can do. Just digital products alone, there's over 1,000 different digital products that you can sell and do. So basically become a content creator. TikTok and TikTok Shop is a whole nother thing. Ad revenue on all the platforms. Facebook monetization right now is bigger than ever. So many people are making a fortune just posting 8 to 10 times on Facebook. If you're posting there, you can post everywhere else at the same time. You can get paid on X for creating content. You can get paid on Snapchat. You can get paid on, TikTok and all the others. There's never been a better time to make money online. So definitely jump on that. If you're stuck in a 9 to 5 and you want to leave, then the first thing I'm going to tell you is you need to start building at least 1 to 3 income streams on the side. And no, it's not going to take 6 or 12 months to do that. You can start today. Get on Fiverr, create some profiles, look on the top navigation menu and look at the different things that are on there. You'll see at least 5 to 10 things that you can easily do yourself. You don't have to create anything from scratch nowadays. There's unbelievable amounts of AI tools and other tools like Canva as an example that have thousands of templates already built in. You can create graphics, social media graphics for companies. You can create graphics for social media ads for companies, for blog posts for companies, for social media posts for companies. There's literally a million different things that you can do. Create your gigs, get started, start marketing your services on social media, and then at the same time get on the different gig sites and start replying to a bunch of opportunities, job opportunities or gig opportunities from companies that need people to do those gigs. You need to do a certain amount of replies per day or per week. So I would recommend 15 to 20 per day. If you're replying to a certain amount of opportunities every day like that, but you're also posting your own gigs as opportunities for others to find you every day, okay, you're gonna have a big plethora of cookie crumbs online where people will find those crumbs and will come back to you and they'll hire you. As you build up your reviews quickly, the faster you build up your reviews and the faster that you deliver those high quality deliveries to your clients, you're gonna have people that come back to you for more jobs, number one. Number two, you're gonna get a lot more jobs because you have reviews. And then number three, you're gonna get a lot more referrals. Referrals are the number one way to drive your business, okay? That way you don't have to spend any money on ads like I haven't done in the last 20 years in my agency. And if you have those three things going, you are gonna be absolutely unstoppable. So start today. What I want you guys to take away from this video today is that anybody can achieve this life. When you see all of this right here, you're looking at $800 to $1,500 a month. Can you make $800 to $1,500 a month online? And the answer is yes. You can have one SEO client, which is what I do, and they'll pay you $2,000 to $3,000 a month for SEO and Google Maps SEO services. You can build one website a month, okay, and make $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 a month, depending on the website and how many pages. You can have, you know, a couple of gigs here on Fiverr and Upwork as another example of things that you can do and create and set up for yourself. You can do a few, 2, 3, 4 UGC videos a month. You know, I could give you literally a million examples, but you can have this life. It's so much easier to have this life than you can even imagine, and this will definitely change your life. You can leave all the stresses behind that you know in the States or whatever Western country you might be watching from. It could be Australia, it could be Canada, it could be the UK or anywhere in Europe where a lot of the same, you know, problems are going on right now worldwide, obviously. And just focus on what's going to be best for your life. If where you're living is not delivering that for you, then we're trying to help you with this amazing channel to have that life and also give you a path and show you a couple of basic steps and things that you can do to achieve that. The other thing is stop planning and stop stressing and just take action. Too many people, they watch 1,000 YouTube videos. They take notes for 6 or 12 months on everything that they're going to do, and they plan and they plan and they plan, but then they never take action. So the first step that you can do to take action is pick the 5 things in your house that you never use and never touch and sell them this week immediately. That's your first step, action step. So in my book, I have action steps at the end of every single chapter for that reason. I've been very guilty of this in many things in my life. Don't be a professional note taker, right? Note taking and taking notes and watching videos will not make you any money. It will not change your life. It won't do anything for you, okay? You need to be an action taker. It's the action and the swinging of the bat. You got to get on the baseball field. That's what's going to put you ahead in life. And that's also the best thing that's going to teach you the most is taking the action is the greatest teacher. Action is the greatest teacher. So take action.
Jarrett's message is simple. Prepare. Develop a portable source of income and take action. But relocation is not equally accessible to everyone. Visas, healthcare, unstable earnings, family obligations, and cultural adjustment can all complicate the dream of starting again abroad. Jarrett's life in Vietnam is not free from uncertainty. His income has declined, his industry is changing, and he is still rebuilding parts of his business. Even so, after 3 years outside the United States and 2 years in Vietnam, one decision appears settled. Jarrett does not intend to move back.
I will never move back to the United States, ever. Because I also know people that have traveled, and obviously I've seen enough YouTube videos that have traveled to dozens of other countries, and those countries look amazing as well. You know, we plan on traveling more. I have a few financial things to take care of first, but You know, the feeling of peace that you get when you can live in a very, very comfortable life on a low income, but have such a quality, high ceiling of the quality of your life with a very low cost of living is something that you never want to go, you never want to get rid of that and go back to what the stresses and the high costs and all the other bad things that are the reasons that I left the States. I don't want to deal with any of that anymore. I just want peace in my life. I want to focus on my relationships, you know, my money and my health, to make those three things as, you know, I don't really know what the word is to say, that I want them to be as great as possible, and I want to be able to focus on those things. The peace is priceless in your life, and you can have that peace. So looking back, if it's going to be the day right before I left the United States, what would I tell myself? I would say keep an open mind, leave with an open heart, be prepared for anything, and get ready to be the most excited you've ever been in your entire life and the happiest you've ever been in your entire life, because you have no idea what's in front of you, but your life is about to change for the better, and you're going to have an incredible remaining 40 years of your life stress-free, with hope, with excitement, and once you learn those things, you can help other people have that same feeling, which is, to me, really, really key.